gonna
Get in.
I thought it'd be nice to have some soundtrack for the talk. Just like that there. Hey guys, thanks for having us. It's really cool. We're here as the final speakers. Let me introduce. This is Simon. He's been interning at RESN for 5 years now.
Yeah, it's been 5 years now. This year is going to be my year.
This will be your year.
Yeah. And this is Chris, our creative director here in Amsterdam. Chris has a writing background and he's a total pro with ideation and storytelling.
Well, Simon comes from a digital art background. He's also a really good chef. We've just realised that our names are in red, but
Yeah.
we are alive. So collectively, we did the math. Collectively, we've been working at RESN for 13 years, which is
kind of weird.
It is weird because RESN is 11 years old, so we're not quite sure how that works.
We're not very good with math.
It does add up. It does add up. Now, we wouldn't also use the word dream team lightly, but you know.
Why not? We're up there, so.
Perverting the web. That's what our talk is about. I know it sounds sort of a little bit of a creepy, inappropriate kind of word to describe it, but perverting doesn't have to be creepy or inappropriate. We're going to look at the what, how, and the why. What is perverting the web? How do we apply perversion to our work? And why we believe that perverting the web is critical to the creative process. So we thought of that title because it sounded pretty cool. We didn't actually know what perverting meant, so we Googled it, and we found out that it meant taking what's right, proper, and good, and distorted, warped, and misusing it. Now, I know that it sounds kind of, despite how these sound as negative kind of words, it doesn't have to be by any means. In fact, this talk, we perverted the meaning of perversion to fit with our perception of perversion to help with our talk about perverting.
Pretty well.
So how do we pervert?
Yeah, so let's look first in a way we create. What perverting means for us in a way we create. So yeah, reason it's kind of a long history. We, in a weird spectrum of digital experience, we quite often perceive as doing bizarre work. And yeah, I guess it's quite bizarre. It's not really our goal, creating bizarre work. We just kind of using the bizarre factor in our advantage and in a way we create and try to engage an audience. So let's look at a couple of examples in what we mean by bizarre. So that's a project we've done this year, actually in 2015. That was for Belvita. Belvita is kind of a biscuit for the morning, something, to help you wake up and have a nice day. So in that project, we really tried to bring the user into an happy feeling, start the day with a humoristic.
Start the day with a bang.
A bang, yeah. And that project kind of regrouped a couple of games into a digital anthology and really try to take the piece out of the ennui of the day-to-day life. We all have this feeling of being in a meeting, getting bored, exactly like that, wanting to sneak out, but
only
sneaking out into a new meeting. Or, trying to find your keys when you're late, wanting to go to work, it's very frustrating. Or even from a previous one, this one actually, wanting to shave, the shaver doesn't really work and you're getting annoyed. And really, what's really important for us with that project is we didn't really design for any aesthetic purpose. We really designed to make you laugh. And every pieces of the project are hopefully going to make you laugh.
Yeah. I mean, here is a good example of, I guess, warping and distorting what we perceive. I mean, we all know these things. Maybe no one's done ribbon dancing with cat, but the other things we all are used to. And so we wanted to sort of, I guess, pervert them by sort of taking things to an extreme level. Haha, Flash. This is a Flash website that we did a while ago. Thought we'd sneak one in here. Threaded is a perfect example of what we mean when we say perversion. I mean, looking at the artwork, the fonts, even the interactives themselves, they're designed to give you a sense of unease. The basic story here is there's a computer AI who is trying to take over a human vessel so that they can feel, as they put it, the sand beneath your toes. And all the interactives are geared at making you feel on edge and a bit uneasy. In fact, there is an epileptic warning at the beginning of the website.
We probably should have put it on.
Yeah, we should have put there before. But as you see, things are counterintuitive the way that you move, and it's all about just giving a sense of unease. But we do clean as well.
Yeah, so we apply it obviously to Bizarre, but like we also do clean project, and we use the same philosophy and the same approach to it. It might not be very easy to see at the first look, but we do use it. So a couple of years ago, about 2-3 years ago now, we got asked by Adidas Original to rework their Tumblr page. And for them, what was not working with the previous version is the content was too diluted in the middle of the container, and they really wanted to let the content talk by itself.
Exactly, they wanted it to speak for itself, but they also felt that people weren't being able to access the content in a very easily intuitive kind of a way.
Exactly, yeah. And so we really started by looking at the content, and it's kind of, fashion-y, clean design, kind of an urban edge.
A bit of urban, eh?
Yeah, pretty young. So we really built a container, and it's quite important to say container, around the content, and it's not shattering the content. And we really just try to articulate the whole website around the logo you see in the center, and it stays in the center. And
so it's telling a sort of a very basic narrative story, and the brand is in the center, the content's coming.
It goes around.
Yeah.
And
that's a Konami code, by the way. If you guys put in Konami, then you'll get that crazy thing.
What's twisted and distorted for us is like 3 years ago, not many Tumblr pages were using the navigation like that, so going up and down, left and right, and almost getting lost in the content. But we felt that kind of work and really reflected the mix of content was in their page.
Here's another Adidas one we did. Very simple thing. It was a lookbook, basically as a stack of hot chicks and hot patterns. So we knew that the content is king, and we wanted to treat this with a kind of a clean touch, but we also wanted to do something a little bit different. And so here we have a direct reflection of the prints that you're seeing on screen with these girls, and the pattern, kaleidoscopic patterns happening on the outside. It was all about enhancing. We were still trying to tell a story.
It's supporting the content.
Yeah, exactly, supporting the content. But you see the very minimal UI and clean and just feeling something that I guess is a little bit memorable as well. Favorite part coming up?
Yeah. Moving on to our favorite part. So interaction. I guess it's really why Chris and I imagine most of you do what you do. We work in interactive, not in TV or print. That part is really what's made us passionate about what you do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for us, it's really important to see. We can almost force a user hand, like there's no other industry.
There's no other industry that really forces a user's hand.
Maybe porn.
No, well, perhaps. Yeah.
So yeah, let's look at what we've done interaction-wise.
Through the power of examples.
So that was a website we've done exactly last year for Desperados. Desperados is a beer brand. And the idea there was to create some animated content, so mainly GIF, and try to fit with what the consumers like. Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme is our favorite.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah, really in that project, the content itself was quite weird and distorted and already pretty whack. So we just felt, let's play more with the container and not really the content. And part of the project was to create a couple of Easter eggs all along the main scroll. So we just kind of reverted the screen. So when the user click on the main desktop, they revert the screen and you can keep scrolling. So it's kind of a different way to consume. Who kind of fits the content.
Exactly. We had all this fantastic content. How do we not overshadow it, but just enhance it? Exactly.
Or the ghetto blaster who makes the content dance. It's all about a feeling, a mood. Or I would say telling a story.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's another Tumblr. I know we're kind of obsessed with Tumblr. So that's a bit of a different project for us, because at RESN we have quite a lot of experiment, or we build quite a lot of prototype for pitches or whatever. And we wanted a place to just share them. So we just started with Dimsum.
Yeah, RESN Dimsum. So we have all the stuff that we create through pitching. We do a lot of rapid prototyping and stuff. And a lot of the stuff never sees the light of day. So this was just a repository where we could place it.
Just a place for fun. So making that project, we had to do like a filters, like a menu with all different filters to filter the content. And in the process of making it, we are having way more fun trying to scroll as fast as possible. And actually, we completely forgot about the functionality itself. So we kind of made it into a game where the goal is to scroll as long as possible. And it's quite funny for us to see something which is often perceived as a bad habit. Don't do a too long scroll, you're going to lose your users, you're going to get bored, whatever. Yeah. Actually became a very engaging mechanic.
Yeah,
and
give them a high score.
Yeah. And we did end up with someone scrolling for 323 million pixels, which is pretty much running 1,000 marathon on a finger.
Yeah, that was you, wasn't it?
That you should not say.
Why do we pervert the web? I guess the simplest answer is also the most obvious. We do it because it's fun. Doing something unexpected, something which challenges our creativity and problem-solving skills is fun, and fun's infectious. RESN's a small company. There's 16 of us in Amsterdam and 18 in New Zealand, so we're a very tight group, and we enjoy the infectiousness of the fun nature of discovery and exploration. But if we were to sort of break it down a little bit further, we do it to engage. This is great. Sorry about the resolution, but back in 1930s, people didn't give a shit about resolution at all. You get the essence there. We engage people, and obviously when you've got a product, you've got something that you want to say, you've something to communicate, engagement is something that you want to have an immediate effect on. So we do try to make the experience as quickly as possible engage with our users. But how do we engage?
Surprise!
Okay, now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. You said this was the one time that you wouldn't do that.
No, mate.
Because this is the actual fucking talk.
Sorry.
I lost my place. Where am I? Okay, surprise. Surprise is a real easy get for capturing a user's attention and getting people involved and getting engaged. We have surprises in the way that we play with navigation, as you've seen, the choice of colors, the choice of fonts. All of these are done to sort of create an emotional response, and that often is a surprise. It's also about disruption.
We love this one.
Yeah, see, this is
great.
The kid is the user, and RESN is the guy driving the car. Well, that's how we like to think.
That's what we're saying about holding the hand of the user.
Disruption, and again, like perversion, it has a negative connotation, but it doesn't have to. I think it's important to disrupt. I think it's important to make people question what they're doing. I think it's important for people to be a little bit shocked, expecting one thing only to have it do another thing. There's a lot of enjoyment, a lot of joy to be had about with that. You guys want that a bit longer?
We can stand it for a bit.
It's pretty good.
So it doesn't get old.
We've been using some sort of concrete examples here. We want to take a little bit of a back step and have a look at
perverting a brief. So yeah, like Chris said, we kind of apply that philosophy perversion in kind of the earliest stage of a project, and that's a brief. And it's really for us the most exciting point of a lifetime of a project, because there you can do anything.
All bets are off, anything goes.
It's a blank canvas.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at Zero Landfill. So we got asked by Subaru and Carmichael Lynch, it's an agency in Minneapolis, to showcase Subaru environmental, I cannot say that properly, effort over the past 10 years. And the brief was
to create a timeline that feels nothing. This is Minneapolis accent. A timeline that feels nothing like the static traditional timelines we're all familiar with. We want to go, oh my God.
So from that brief, what was important for us to just stop there and try to look at what can we play with and what we can't really play with. And like the content was really, really important for user, and that kind of go back to what we were saying. We most of the time do containers, and we're not producer of content.
You see that, I mean, obviously with all of our work is basically housing the shell of other people's stuff. That was a cool tool.
So we kind of had to play with the timeline itself. And that timeline was a bit different than we've done timeline before. We've done like Area is a 1440 project. This one was a bit different because the user had no idea about what Subaru was done or for the environment or whatever. So it was more like dropping the user somewhere in that timeline and getting them so engaged, and they will discover more and more and more, obviously through time. But that's a second factor, I think.
I guess, yeah, as opposed to, we're traditionally moving through some fantastic timeline work out there, but it's usually about the chronology of it, whereas this is about being dropped in because you don't actually know what you're going to be essentially doing.
Looking at. So we did do some work, and the first concept we came up with was the axis timeline. That's quite simple, actually. So we look at the content and extracted 3 key units, which are day, months, and years. And we map them into the 3D axes, X, Y, and Z. So the months are represented on X, the days are represented on Y, and finally, the years through Z. And we ended up with that concept. And yeah, we kind of use After Effects a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's
something.
That's a good point. I mean, we found getting our ideas down, because we work so much with motion and animation, that After Effects has been a godsend in terms of both communicating with our team and in our own minds, just getting something down. I tried writing this concept and it was awful. It was a disaster. It doesn't make any sense. But you can see it and understand it. We show that to the client. And it's a real fast, quick, dirty way of being able to show if something's going to work and to feel how it's going to feel.
Exactly.
Then we took a stab at another timeline concept. We wanted to move away from I guess, the coordinates type thing and try something different. I don't know about you, but I've never seen a timeline or time represented in a circle before, so we figured this was a good start. Obviously, you start at the year, you can cycle through the year, come to the months, then pick up, February.
So the 3 units are still present, so we kept the same core concept.
Is it 31st of Feb? Is that an actual date? I don't think it exists.
I think there is, though.
Okay. No, I don't think it does. No. So we had 2 concepts here, 2 that were based around these 3 core sort of units. Then we wanted to, I guess, try something a little bit more conceptual, would you say?
Yeah, conceptual, yeah. Exactly. So we look at it a bit further, and time flow from A to B in a linear way. And the notion of months versus days versus years can be perceived as a level of precision through that time.
The sex going crazy, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
So for each given point in time, we can let the user, change that level of precision and ultimately move between these 3 core units, which are year, months, and days. And again, what we are saying at the beginning, the user should kind of not feel lost, but want to discover more. And we thought that concept helped them to just get dropped into some content and browse through, basically.
But as often happens with clients, they were like, we love it, but you love 2 of the ideas. So basically, they like the string, they like the circular timeline concept. Could we create something and mash something together?
And that was
a watershed moment for us. Because me and Simon are not the sharpest tools in the shed, and it took us it was about 1 or 2 a.m. when we kind of suddenly realized that what we were creating by combining this circular timeline with the string was a tree. A digital tree, each year represented by a ring, which is how it is in nature as well. 1 year, 1 ring, and then diving into the content. So it was just one of those happy kind of marriages of spending time instead of on one specific project. How could we pervert time in 3 different kind of ways and just try and do something interesting and something brand new?
Yeah. And yet, so by distorting and twisting what the preconception of a timeline is, we, at least for us, think we ended up creating a timeline which is more suitable for the subject we are talking about, and more meaningful for the user.
It feels like really part of the story.
And really trying to engage the users more, and hopefully discover more content.
Yes, we're almost done yet. I guess I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. The thing about digital is it's very ephemeral, and this is a great thing for us because we can experiment and we can try different things, and we can fail, we can succeed. We can do a lot of discovery, and the reason is because I guess people just have short attention spans.
Yeah.
So when you forget, when you've done something and created something and it might not be so good, someone's going to forget it anyway. You just need to show them a lolcat and they'll move on. They'll be perfectly happy. So it's the perfect medium to explore and to really push and try different things and not adhere to one specific way of doing something, but really, I guess, I want to tie it back to the talk, pervert the web. And we're going to hit you with, I guess, a couple of points.
Yeah.
Because we've been kind of meandering a bit and waffling a bit, and so we want to give you something concrete.
Yeah. Design to the concept. Don't make the concept fit your own style. I guess that point join what we showed you at the beginning, really, with like Belvita or Fredit. It's really try to design for a meaning. Mm-hmm. Don't try to apply a graphic style or kind of a trend into your concept.
Perverting the web is where the fun begins. In the brief, I didn't even read it properly. That was lame. Perverting the brief is where the fun begins. Okay, so this is what we were saying before. Everything, anything goes at this stage. This is the exciting time. This is the time to dream weave. This is the exciting moment. So pervert straight away.
Digital work is ephemeral. Nothing is set in stone. So don't be afraid of trying out something. It doesn't really matter if that fails or if that succeeds. It's not going to stay online very long, and ultimately
we did a job. Yeah, we did a job self-destructing book, which we spent a lot of time and a lot of late nights and a lot of work, and it was online for 5 days, and then the campaign was over, and that was that. So, I don't know. That shouldn't be depressing. I made it sound depressing. It was a good job.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Cool.
I think that was us. No.
No. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think there's one more.
Oh.
Is it? Don't be afraid of breaking design rules and trends. I think the very word trend itself is something that feels like it's coming and going and coming and going. So the idea of adhering to something that you're perceiving as being the right way of doing something. We should always be questioning. We should always be twisting, warping, perverting what we're doing and approaching that. And I think that's us.
Yeah, that was us. Thank you.
No, one more slide. So main takeaway. Obviously, these kind of talks are all about giving people a good takeaway. And
we kind of forgot about it for a while. So
yeah. But we chose pizza because it's a crowd favorite. It's vegetarian as well because we know that some of you will be vegetarian.
We're not expecting so many people.
No.
So you might have to share.
Maybe there'll be a few people. Yeah. It's cold as well, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a bit shameful.
Follow us on Twitter.
Thank you.